Very quickly to 10 minutes away from 9 o'clock, the SIU and the Special Tribunal has ordered software firm SAP to pay more than 81 million rand back to the Water and Sanitation Department. Now, the company only has 5 days to do so. Now, this ruling comes after the Special Investigating Unit revealed that contracts between the department and SAP were irregular and unlawful. So let's get reaction from the Department of Water and Sanitation. Their spokesperson, Sputnik Ratau, joining us now. Morning to you, Sputnik, and just help me understand what this money was actually for. We're going to talk about the fight to get the money back, but this case goes back a couple of years now. Just help me with a short memory to understand, how did we get to this point?
Gareth, just briefly, there was a contract between the department and the company for it to provide IT services by means of a platform of communication between the department, its entities, and the projects that collectively that the sector would be involved in, and so that we could all be able to have a commonality of workspace. But the difficulty was that already some of the entities were using SAP, while others were finding that they had other contractors that they were using. But also, remember, as this was a huge amount of money that was involved, and also it is an IT issue that required that the SITA must also be involved in terms of advice and processes with regard to the acquisition of such a contract. So all of those things needed to be in place, but there needed to be also buy-in from the entities, in that they would also be party to the use of the platform that was to be created.
So is the Department of Water and Sanitation then, Sputnik, seeing this as a victory? Is that the right way to interpret this?
Yes, it is, in the sense that it helps us as well to really march on the path that we had agreed on with the National Treasury as well as the Office of the Auditor General, that in order for us to look at the huge amounts that had been on our books in terms of expenditure that is out of line, part of that would be to ensure that there is some management of disciplinary processes that would then be able to allow us to not just be able to take disciplinary actions or even civil actions, but also to recover the monies that were spent either irregularly or however. So this is part of that. And remember that the tribunal had actually already ordered SAP to pay much more than this back, of which this would be the last tranche, to my understanding, of the over 400 million that was supposed to be returned to the department.
And I suppose the obvious question is now going to be, with all this money coming back into DWS, Sputnik, where's that money going to go? Is it being earmarked for more IT work, or could this go to, say, for example, water infrastructure or something useful on the ground? What's the plan with all this money?
Well, remember that this was coming out of the budget that was looking at infrastructure development and so on. So it will still have to be looked at in terms of that, but obviously depending on what is at hand, what the requirements are, as well as what kind of understanding is there between ourselves and National Treasury, that will also be able to assist us to actually make sure that the money gets to be spent where it needs to be spent and for the things that they needed to be spent.
Well, I appreciate your time. Sputnik Ratau, Water and Sanitation spokesperson. A story going back to 2015, 2016 in terms of, if I recall correctly, it's been a couple of years now with this money that's been outstanding. But my thanks to Sputnik Ratau, that money going to go back in. They'll re-establish where that should be used. But it's essentially infrastructure money. It was IT infrastructure, but it was infrastructure money. Maybe we could see it being used for schools or hospitals. It's a lot of money. Who knows? But you know the issues with water in our country. Maybe it can go to something more useful.